Hey. It looks like we did it. We did it. I had a little bit of a bloop happening there. Um, but we're on, and I see a few of you here. So I'm so glad you're here. Let's turn off our phones and let's get to it. I'm excited about today. We're going to be working on Parsvatanasana, and that is pyramid pose. So if you have a chair, you might find that having a chair is helpful. I'm going to use 2 blocks, but I know not everybody's using the 2 blocks. If there's anything you want to get to tonight, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Don't forget to hit subscribe down there at the bottom. I think it's on the left. And that way you get notifications every time a live stream comes out at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays. And then Sundays, don't forget, we have a restorative series that comes out every Sunday at 2. It's pre-recorded. It's like 20 minutes. This past Sunday, we worked with foam rollers and tennis balls, and I even juggled. So you might want to go check that out. So hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, hit like. That way other people can know that you liked it and they'll come back too. Okay, so 30 minutes, we're on the mat, we're shaking it down, we're standing still, we're sitting still, we're together, and we're going to work out our lower back. So let's do it. First thing I want us to do is just, you guessed it, stand still. Stand still for a moment. Wherever you are, whatever's cooking, whatever TV's going, whatever's happening around you, I want us to just take a pause and just be in this moment right here and right now. Yes, there's a ton of things happening around you. Yes, there's noises, there's smells, there's things to look at. But we're turning on that inner gaze. We're just going to stand still for a moment. Just take a deep breath. I'm really, really glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here, and the others that are here are glad you're here too. We're together, right? Even if we don't know each other's names, even if we've never seen each other's faces, just knowing that there's a community of people that are just standing still for a moment together. Does it feel challenging to pause? Do you feel like this is a waste of your time? There's so many other things you could be doing right now than just pausing. Welcome to the club, because it's challenging to pause. So I'm going to stop talking and we're going to take 8 mindful breaths. Now, in the old days, when we would get frustrated or anxious or angry, we would say count to 10, right? Remember those days? Now we say take 8 mindful breaths. 8 mindful breaths, and those nerves are calmed. So let's do that together. Mindful breath means that you're focusing your mind on the breath. We're going to do a Samavriti pattern where there's an equal inhale and an equal exhale. The most important thing I can teach you right there. If you can get an inhale to match the length of your exhale, it's so nurturing to the body, to the mind, to the spirit, to the nerves. Okay? So a beginner pattern would be 4 inhale, 4 exhale. Maybe you're at 6, maybe you're at 8. 8 mindful breaths together. Stand still and let's begin. Where are you putting this breath? Can you drop it into the lower body, to the belly? Just stand still and breathe. Just let that life, that life force of yours move. Take in the life, take all that you need from it, and then whatever's not working, whatever you don't need, just let it go. Let it go. One more. Right? Sometimes we have to even, all right, let's shake it off. Yes, I had some emails about folks saying we can do yoga in street clothes. And yes, we can do yoga in street clothes. I've got my stretchy jeans on, so they're easy to do yoga in, but I don't want everybody to think they have to have fancy props or fancy clothes. You can see that I'm going to do it in my street clothes. Yes, they're comfy, but I rarely wear street clothes that aren't comfy. All right, so we're just going to move the body any way we want to. We're going to get into the focus of our lower back, okay? So the best way to get into this lower back is to breathe into it. And that's really a challenging thing to do. So sometimes taking a hand on the back and breathing into your hands. Maybe you're bending over forward. Maybe you can come all the way to Uttanasana, forward fold. Whatever you want to do, gravity is our friend. Sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is. So here we are, Uttanasana, forward fold. If you're for some reason not going over because you have a herniated disc or some sort of bulge or something and you want to keep a flat back, that's why the chair is handy here. If you don't have a chair, you could always just use your blocks. Some of us can tip all the way over. The outer edges of the feet are planting down. The big toes are pressing in. Maybe we grab opposite elbows. Just stand still for a moment. See if you can breathe into your back. If you want to be a fancy advanced student, like if you really want to be advanced, you can stick a block on your back. Look at that. And challenge yourself to breathe in there. Don't do it if it's a wood block or a cork block because that's not fun. Mine are foam. Maybe what you're needing today is to bend the knees a little bit and walk the arms out like in a downward dog position. That way you're keeping the back flat, keeping the spine healthy and aligned, but you're still getting this really big boost here in our lower back. I've said before that one of my favorite things to do is to hang on to the kitchen sink and just coming into a very glamorous horse pose where you're just letting gravity drop that lower back. A lot of people ask me, do I do yoga every day? And I laugh because I have to do yoga. It's not an option. I mean, my body hurts if I don't do yoga. I get back pain, I have scoliosis. So there's reasons that having a regular practice keeps the pain away for some of us, or maintains, alignment so that we can do lives and the work that we need to do. If you're doing a lot of sitting, then back bending would be key. So finding ways that you can balance yourself out with the practice. And there's something for everyone. It's not as if you have to do, 5 sun salute A's and all these deep handstands, and you're just meeting the mat wherever you are. To move anything that's stuck physically, mentally, emotionally. Okay. When you're ready, inhale, sweeping those arms up, and exhale, reset. So before we get to the pyramid, I just want to double check on our alignment. Remember, these are our kickstands, and this is very important that the chain works as one. Toes right underneath the knees right underneath the hips. Whenever we move the leg, it has to be moving from the hip, not the lower leg. So this is always and forever happening. Let's do this together. Just open and close. Moving from this hip. And if we were to talk about true yoga, it's not about being on a yoga mat, right? That's one aspect of yoga. Yoga is a path of wellness, how we breathe, how we take care of ourselves, how we show up for our community, how we are in our bodies, how we learn to focus our mind, how we learn to ask ourselves those deeper questions. That is yoga, all these different limbs. So being on the yoga mat is just one aspect of it, opening up this body on a Maya kosha. Okay, here we are. We're going to find what we call mountain pose. This posture is in every other pose that we do, Tadasana. So here we are. First, we want to have the feet hip distance apart. Then we want to find that the pelvis is neutral, the pubic bone is dipping back, and without clenching the glutes, we have the tailbone relaxing. One thing to remember is that we want the perineum, which is the very base of the pelvis, to be focusing down. So we're not trying to make the tailbone point down because we're all differently built. So as long as you can feel that the base of your pelvis, that pelvic floor, is shining down to the floor, that's your alignment. Some of us have more of a tip. Some of us have less of a tip. That's not so important, but the idea that the pelvis is in your own neutral is the key. Let's take our arms out nice and wide, palms facing forward, and we'll just check in with this upper body here before we move. How is this feeling for you? Exhale. How's the shoulders? Do you have one that's a little bit tweakier? Inhale. So when we start to do our pyramid, our Parsvatanasana posture, we're going to all be doing different things with our arms. So we're taking some moments here just to see what your arms feel like, what those shoulders feel like, remembering they work the same way as the leg. So let's go ahead and take our left arm and close it and open it from the shoulder. Close it and open it. If you have any kind of injuries, and maybe you need to do less. What's that feel like for you? 2, and take it down. Right arm, close and open, or you can keep it up if you want to, and open. Just checking in. Just how are you? How's the day been for you? What's going on in the neck, the shoulders, the lower back? How are you feeling? How are you breathing? I'm really glad you're here, taking some time. Very important. All right, and let's go back to Tadasana. So that gave you a little bit of information. Now, here's the secret sauce. When I tip over, I'm going to imagine that my heels are pulling apart. I'm not really going to pull them apart, but I'm going to imagine that my inner thighs are rolling behind me. Here we go. Big inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold with the flat back, and imagine those heels are spreading apart. We call that an internal rotation. Now, anyone with a back injury, this is a safe position for you to have it nice and flat. Maybe you'll stay here the whole time. Now look at those feet. Do you see how the kneecap is sitting over the second, third toe? Let's take our left leg back just a tiny bit. How long? It's about 50, 60, 75% of the length of your leg. We call it a short stance. It's not a big, deep lunge. It's just a little bit, about 3/4 of your leg. Now look back. Do you still have the kneecap over the second, third toe? Are you turning that leg out? See if you can make both knees look forward. And then on this front leg, on this left leg, plug in the big toe. Really feel that big toe plugging in, but the outer hip is moving back. So we're doing two things at once, right? We're going to plug in this right big toe. So it's really pushing a button there. But as that's happening, we're going to let this outer hip move back. So playing just with that. Now, some of you can focus again on the back leg. The same thing. The outer heel on the back foot is pushing down plus the big toe. The outer heel on the back foot is pushing down plus the big toe. And then here we go. Pyramid, Parsvatanasana. Now feel yourself taking both of your tailbones, not your tailbones, your thigh bones, your femurs, pull them back to the wall behind you and see if you can touch the top of your head to the front wall. So there's a lot of action steps. You find the ones that work for you today. Keep dragging the top of the head to the wall in front of you, the outer right hip to the wall behind you. Remember when we were fancy pantses and we had the block on our back? Let's pretend it's if you can breathe into that block. Some of you are ready. You can either forward fold here, or I love to take my blocks far away from me and come into like a downward dog position. This is one of my all-time favorite postures for lower back work. Couple of questions you might be having. Is it okay to bend my front knee? Yes, it's okay to bend your front knee. You know why? Because you're bending it. So yoga is going to meet you where you are. If you can't make it straight, then that's where you are. The most important thing here is the plug in of the right big toe and that outer hip is moving back. So nice. 2 more deep breaths. Beautiful. Bend that right knee. Bend that right knee. Lift those hands, strong and powerful legs. Inhale, come up, 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 up for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Taking your hands up or in hands in prayer or Yoga Mudra where you're going to interlace the fingers behind you. Whatever you want to do. This is a short stop here. We're not going to be here long. 5 breaths. Proud warrior. What are you proud of? Two more deep breaths. Now we're going back to Parsvatanasana, back to pyramid. Straighten that leg as best you can. Open those arms, big taffy arms. We're going to close the right elbow. So if this feels safe to you to close the right elbow, do it. If not, just go ahead and put it on your hip. And then we're going to take the right arm up, palm facing forward. And here we go. Plug in that big toe, swivel that outer hip, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale up. Exhale 2. What do you think we're doing here for your body? What is happening here for your body? 3. And 4. Last one. Take the left hand to the block. Put the block right underneath your shoulders. Look at your nose. Look at your nose. Your nose is pointing straight to the mat. Those of you who are more intermediate folks who feel very safe about it, you keeping that right big toe plugged in are going to come into Parivriti, Parsvatanasana. So now you're twisting. Oh, yes. Yummy, right? If this doesn't feel safe for you, then please back off. Now, a couple of things for you. You can be in an earlier level. Remember, you're never chasing a yoga pose. If you're in this posture with me and you're revolving, what's going on with that back heel? Are you feeling it lift up? See if you can energetically push that heel down. Lean back. We got 5 more breaths. Just let the day go. You can gaze at the floor. You could gaze out to the horizon. If it's okay to look up at the sky, whatever you need. Time for you to stand still. Here together. 2 more deep breaths. So nice. Now close the pelvis. Some of you will stand back into that forward fold and hold. Some of you feeling a little bit more dynamic. Maybe you'll go through a vinyasa. And we'll walk forward again. Back to that standing forward fold, and inhale, sweep it up, 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 and exhale, reset. Guess what? Second side. Here we go. Back into your mountain pose, back into that neutral pelvis, sitting up nice and tall in the ribs, front body, back body, and we'll go to the other side. We're going to drag that right leg back. We're going to do everything the same. We're going to make sure we're plugging in that left big toe, outer left hip moves back. Plug in that left big toe, outer hip moves back. I want you to feel how that's contradicting. It feels a little bit opposite. And it's in every posture pretty much that we're doing. We always want to feel that scrubbing of the muscles. And then the same thing with the back foot. Do you have the kneecap sitting over the second, third toe? Is the hip closed? Or have you torqued it open? Let that hip be closed. Inhale, nice and tall spine. Exhale, we're going to come over here and just hold for a moment. We're going to feel what's happening. Left big toe plugging in, outer left hip dragging back. Left big toe plugging in, really pushing down that button, but the outer left hip is moving to the wall behind you. On the back foot, the outer heel is dropping down plus that big toe. Outer heel dropping down plus the big toe. From the femur bones, the thigh bones, pull them behind you. Like really imagine the thigh bones are moving behind you and see if you can touch the top of your head to the wall in front. 8 deep breaths. Imagine that block sitting on your lower back. If you wanted to do a little Jalandhara Bandha, a little tuck of the chin, humble bow, feel free to do that. Make this yours. I'm really glad you're here. Glad we're doing this together. A little break in the day. And maybe you're watching the recording. I see you too. 2 more deep breaths. Again, maybe this is the right spot for you. Maybe you want to do a little bit more of a hamstring stretch. Maybe you want to bend forward. Again, I like to do the down dog arms. I like to really feel the extension from the outer hips on both legs all the way to the pinky fingers. Again, if the knee is bending, then let it bend or come up and keep it straight. If you want the stretch, it's better to keep the knee extended, but not everybody's there. And if you're getting really judgy and critical of yourself and you're beating yourself up because you're not in better shape, that again is welcome to the club. That's the yoga, right? The yoga is not this pose. The yoga is listening to the chatter of your mind. Yoga is always for the mind. One more big breath. Beautiful. Virabhadrasana 2 now. I'm sorry, 1. Virabhadrasana 1. Bend that left knee. Come on up, finding your nice long spine here again, deciding what you want to do. Whatever you want to do. We're going to use gravity. Those of you who are working a little bit deeper, you're trying to imagine that your right foot is going to step forward. You're trying to step forward there, really opening this energetic idea that you're taking a big step. Outer left hip moves back, outer right hip moves forward. One more deep breath. And good. Straighten that leg, open those arms, close the left shoulder if you did it last time and bind. Inhale, sweep that arm up. Buttons pushing down with that left big toe, outer left hip is moving, and we're going to take that right hand to the block, double check that the shoulder's right underneath, or you're using a chair. And then before you do anything else, double check your spine. Is your spine right in the middle of your yoga mat? What would happen if you kept plugging in that right or left big toe and that outer left hip and you started to turn to the sky? If this is a good, comfortable movement for you, do so. If you need to go to an earlier level, master that earlier level. You never chase the yoga pose, they just open. Just stand still for a moment. Keeping your eyes open for balance. We want to be in the moment. We want to be noticing. If it's really distracting and you really need to close your eyes, feel free to do so. But eventually, the idea is that the eyes are open and there's a drishti, there's a gazing spot in every yoga pose. Let go. Can you breathe into that lower body? Can you keep the mind in the moment, or does it just want so desperately to jump away? 3 more breaths. Beautiful. When you're ready, again, deciding what it is you want to do. Maybe it's stepping into a Uttanasana, a forward fold. Maybe you're feeling like you want to wash it away. I like to think of the vinyasa as the eraser. Just erase it all. And when you're ready, let's bring our knees down and pop a squat. Or maybe you're sitting on a chair. I know some of you do all of this from chairs or beds. How are we doing? Just one pose tonight. Parsvatanasana, pyramid. One of my favorites. Let's take 5 deep breaths. And as we finish up, we're going to come to our back, please, and we're going to just say hello to the hamstrings. And this is a really perfect opportunity to get really critical on yourself because everybody's hamstrings are pretty tight. So see if you can avoid doing that. Come on down to your mat. Come on down to your back. Bring the left knee in, maybe hug around the shin, maybe hug around the back of the thigh, maybe straighten the leg if that works for you. Maybe take the leg up if that works for you. This is whatever you need to do. What I like to do, which is pretty challenging, is I like to keep the knee bent and I like to grab my foot. So if I were to be flipped over, I'd be in a lunge. But you decide what you need. Maybe it's a straight leg. And then as we sit here together for a moment and we feel the body, I just want to give you a little invitation, okay? I would like to invite you to just, in these last few minutes, in these very tight spots of your body, maybe you start to shake, maybe you start to wish this was over, Can you just be grateful that your body does what it does? All day today, I've just been so grateful. My brain works, my organs are working, my body is healthy. Not perfect, right? We all have something, but just gratitude that this physical body, this vehicle, at least for this moment right now, can receive a big old breath. I invite you to just sit with gratitude with me. 1 more minute, please. Gratitude, I can breathe. I have time and space in my life to do this video with you. I have these legs every time the mind goes, but I don't have, but I don't have, but I don't have, just bring it back. What do you have? Look for those flowers instead of the weeds. It's kind of amazing how once you start working that way, the body does trust you a little more and it gives up a little bit more. It's a beautiful way to practice, just sitting in that gratitude. All right, other side, other side. Bring that knee in. Maybe this is where you are. Maybe you're interlacing behind the thigh and that's where you are. Maybe you're straightening that bottom leg. Maybe you're taking that top leg up. Or maybe, like me, you're working on the knee bend and trying to create a 90-degree angle. What's working here? What feels really opening or relaxing? Or how does it feel to be together here doing this? So grateful. We got 8 mindful breaths and we're doing 5 more. Let go. Two more. And when it's time for you, let both legs come down and windshield wiper your knees side to side. So the inner circle, healthy habit of December, my women's group, is early to bed. We're building our bedtime routines. 1 yoga pose. That's what we did. 1 yoga pose. Beautiful way to set up your bedtime routine, just stretching out. And most importantly, lying down on the floor or the bed and focusing on letting the body be still. That's really the key, right? So coming into a position where the feet are a little bit wider, the knees are leaning towards each other, balancing evenly on the pelvis and the shoulder blades, taking the arms out nice and wide. If you're feeling open, turn the palms up, a little vulnerable or wanting to be a little bit more introverted, turn the palms down, just mindfully aware of what you're doing. And then gently close your eyes, relax the tongue, relax the base of the throat. And just sit still for a moment. Sinking into the floor, feeling held by that floor, by that mat, as you walk this path to wellness. Let's take 3 big exhales together and we'll end there. Big exhale. Inhale. Last one. Really nice. Nice work. All right. I will see you next time. As always, may this be of benefit to you. Deep, deep bows to you all. And namaste. See you soon.